When I saw what was happening in this country, I wanted to do something to fight back.
Joshua Aaron developed ICEBlock. It's a free, crowdsourced app that alerts users when immigration and customs enforcement agents are spotted within a 5-mile radius of their location. Will you just sort of explain what ICEBlock is and how it works?
Sure. So imagine if you're walking down the street and a notification comes up on your device that says ICE has been spotted 4 blocks ahead. Instead of continuing down that path, you can turn left or turn around and avoid the situation altogether.
Aaron grew up Jewish and has a background in tech, music, and activism. He says he sees parallels between the Trump administration's immigration crackdown and Nazi Germany.
We're literally watching history repeat itself. And so I thought, what if there was an early warning system? And that's what became ICEBlock.
I'm looking at LA now. I'm seeing one in East Hollywood. And then as I zoom out, it's showing me a few others.
One of the core principles of the design of this app is 100% anonymity for our user base. As of today, we have 20,000 users. We're hoping to grow that 10 or 100 times, of course. But there is no sign-up process. There is no user data collected. There's no user data even captured by our app.
Do you have a way of verifying the accuracy of the reports that people are making on the platform?
We don't, but what we've done is put some safeguards in place so that people can't, for lack of a better word, spam the database. Every reported sighting is deleted in 4 hours' time, as you can only report within a 5-mile radius of your own location. Beyond that, we have a 5-minute limit. So when you report a sighting, you can't report another one for 5 minutes.
CNN reached out to ICE for comment about the app and Aaron's characterization of its enforcement actions. The agency did not respond. We have also seen the way that many big tech leaders have supported Trump, donated to him, showed up at the inauguration. But what you're doing is challenging the policies of the Trump administration. And I wonder what you would say to the other leaders and your colleagues in this industry.
I think I would say grow a backbone. You can't just be about the money. I understand that you have shareholders to report to. I understand that you have employees that need their paychecks. But at what point do you say enough is enough?
On foot and up high on a cherry picker, a number of workers at a construction site off mile marker 13 trying to get away from immigration officials, some crossing the busy I-35 highway as traffic passed by.
I saw ICE surrounding the building and they started picking up people. They started asking them for their documents, I think.
Chaos erupted Thursday morning after ICE conducted what they call routine immigration enforcement activities in Laredo, leading to the arrest of 24 Mexican nationals. Other workers at the site calling out federal agents.
They are here bothering people. These are people who aren't bothering anyone.
And speaking out on the recent ICE raids at construction sites.
We heard they weren't going to bother people. That's all lies. They continue to bother people. They bother people who are only here working.
ICE confirming the undocumented were taken in by ICE custody for processing. The Laredo Fire Department was also at the scene. In a statement, they clarified their involvement was strictly limited to providing medical standby support, as is standard during any large-scale or potentially hazardous operation. And want to make clear, the Laredo Fire Department is not involved in deportation efforts or any immigration enforcement operations. It remains unclear who or what construction group hired the workers. ICE goes on to say, under federal law, employers are required to verify the identity and employment eligibility of all individuals they hire.
New tonight, a child suffering from leukemia is in ICE custody. They and their family are being held at a detention center about 90 miles southwest of San Antonio. News 4 San Antonio's Destiny Fuller joins us now with the details.
Andy, one attorney on this case tells us her team is fighting for this family's constitutional rights and their health. They were transferred from California to the Dilly Detention Center, which has already seen one death, and they're trying to keep their client from becoming another. A new federal lawsuit against ICE and DHS, attorneys with Texas Civil Rights Project, RICES, and the Columbia Law School Immigrants' Rights Clinic claim a woman and her 2 children had their constitutional rights violated. They were arrested outside of an immigration court despite having an active asylum case.
Unfortunately, is not a unique situation. This is happening all across the country right now. A lot of times we hear the rhetoric that immigrants need to, quote unquote, do it the right way, and this is the family who did exactly that.
The mother, who the suit refers to as Miss Z, was at court with her 2 children in California when their case was suddenly dismissed. The 3 were arrested shortly after by ICE.
They were seeking safety, and they were admitted into the United States, paroled in to be able to remain in the country during the duration of their case, and the government made a determination that they didn't have to be detained.
They're currently being held at a detention center in Dilly.
The family is really struggling. Both children have been crying daily and praying to God for their release, that they can be let out soon. They've both lost their appetite. They're not eating well.
We've also learned the youngest of the 2 children is diagnosed with leukemia. The 6-year-old boy has already missed treatments.
This is all in a detention facility that has a long history of providing subpar medical treatment or not providing medical treatment at all in some instances.
She also mentioned the 2018 death of a toddler in the same facility. A spokesperson for immigration advocacy group RICES, a co-counsel on the case, also commented on the detention center's condition, saying families report that the medical care at Dilly is inadequate, disorganized, and indifferent to the urgency of pediatric health needs. Gibson Kumar tells us the legal team is already seeing forward progress in the case, telling me just yesterday a judge ordered responding groups to give an answer by July 1st. We reached out to ICE and DHS officials for a comment on the case. Their spokesperson said that they received our request but couldn't meet our deadline. We'll let you know what they say when we hear back. Reporting in studio, I'm Destiny Fuller.
As ICE operations in the mid-state continue, the agency reveals almost 3 out of every 4 of those who have been arrested are criminals or suspects of a crime. Since May 1st, the weekend when ICE sent the first bus of migrants to Louisiana, until now, the agency says it arrested 575 undocumented immigrants. 419 have convictions and or pending charges. Early in the operation, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell shared his skepticism ICE was targeting criminals.
If ICE released the names, you'd probably hear about the father who was stopped as he returned home from buying decorations for his son's birthday party. These raids aren't about safety.
In an exclusive ICE ride-along earlier this month, we saw ICE officers arrest convicted child molester Jorge Ricardo Cajitas Vegas from Cuba. They also arrested Eleazar Ordaz from Mexico, convicted of aggravated assault. Recent arrests include convicted child molester Maximo Figueroa Romero from the Dominican Republic and Antuyet Tai Lee from Vietnam, convicted of attempted especially aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor. Congressman Andy Ogles called for 2 congressional committees to investigate Mayor O'Connell over suspicion of obstructing ICE operations, referencing the new information on ICE arrests.
The data points speak for themselves. That just underscores the fact that he not only is he a mayor, but he is a radical activist.
Fox 17 News reached out to the mayor's office Wednesday and again on Thursday for comment with no response to the new data. We spoke to Anselmo Jacob, whose parents are undocumented immigrants.
And if they have no problems, like I understand, like if they have like criminal records and stuff like that, but still, like they shouldn't be deported.
He tells me ICE arresting 27% of people who aren't criminals is just not fair.
They're looking for a better life.
If you came here illegally, you crossed the border illegally, that's a crime.
In Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.